Hello and thanks for joining us from our studios in Israel. I'm Aaron Porras here with ILTV's Morning Briefing.
The European Union is gathering its foreign ministers to have serious talks with Israel over their concerns regarding an Israeli settlement policy in the West Bank. They question Israel's commitment to the two-state solution, and according to one EU diplomat, any future talks with Israel couldn't be, quote, business as usual. Things have to be said clearly to the Israelis, end quote. The idea is to establish a united front with one voiced opinion on the Israel-Palestinian conflict, depending on the facts on the ground. On the condition they remain anonymous, the diplomats briefed reporters about their discussions in Brussels. Among their chief concerns is that the ambivalence regarding the two-state solution that has been stated by the Trump administration makes Europe worry about pressuring Israel, which the EU has little influence over, to negotiate. The European Union has consistently condemned Israeli settlement policy, which it deems illegal. Land in the West Bank, Gaza, and East Jerusalem has been claimed by the Palestinians as part of their future state. Today, it's been revealed that last fall, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu backed out of a regional peace negotiation because of the Amona crisis. The Israeli daily Haaretz reported that Netanyahu, along with opposition leader MK Isaac Herzog, were slated to release a joint 8-point English-language text detailing Israel's position in support of a regional peace plan. The document, published by Haaretz, dated September 12th, addresses Arab states, particularly Egypt. It thanks President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi for his willingness to play an active role in advancing peace and security in the region and relaunching the peace process. It also goes on to explicitly welcome wider Arab involvement in the peace effort, noting, quote, Israel regards positively the general spirit of the Arab Peace Initiative and the positive elements in it. Israel welcomes a dialogue with Arab states regarding this initiative so as to reflect the dramatic changes in the region in recent years and to work together to advance the two-state solution and a broader peace in the region, end quote. The statement was never publicly released because it would have forced Netanyahu to curtail settlement construction, a position at odds with most of his governing coalition. Haaretz further stated that the peace talks broke down because of political infighting between Herzog and Netanyahu, an insinuation that the Prime Minister's office has rejected, while Herzog's has declined to comment. According to Haaretz, the text's content were well known to officials in Egypt and Jordan, as well as then United States Secretary of State John Kerry and Quartet Mideast peace envoy Tony Blair. Jordan, Egypt, and the Palestinian Authority have all released statements that the two-state solution is non-negotiable. This weekend saw a massive shakeup in Israel's political scene, with former Shin Bet chief and ex-MK Avi Dichter declaring that he's going to run against Prime Minister Netanyahu in the next Likud party primaries. As former head of Israel's domestic spy agency, Dichter created the state's witness protection program, as well as an elite police unit to combat organized crime. He defended his candidacy by stating that the two ongoing criminal investigations against the Prime Minister make him unfit to lead the country. The first investigation has been dubbed Case 1000 and alleges that the Prime Minister and his family received luxury gifts worth hundreds of thousands of shekels from various businessmen. In the second case, Case 2000, Netanyahu is accused of negotiating an illicit quid pro quo deal for positive coverage with Arnon Moses, the owner of the Israeli daily Yediot Achronot. On top of that, former Kulanu minister Avi Gabay is set to challenge Isaac Herzog to lead the Labour Party in the July primaries. Gabay has been the head of the Environmental Protection Ministry, but quit in protest when Netanyahu formed a coalition deal with Israel Beitenu. In a Facebook post, Gabay said that he decided to run for the Labour primaries because he wanted, quote, to transform it from a party with correct principles to a party that wins elections, end quote. The shakeup doesn't end there either, as former Defense Minister and IDF Chief of Staff Moshe Ya'alon is announcing his plans to form an entirely new political party to run in the next parliamentary elections. Netanyahu replaced Ya'alon as defense minister with Avigdor Lieberman as part of a deal to include the Israel Beitenu party in the ruling coalition. Ya'alon also criticized the 2014 Gaza War report, which found that both he and the prime minister failed to adequately inform the security cabinet about the threat posed by Hamas attack tunnels ahead of the conflict. The long-anticipated World Baseball Classic has returned for a fourth time and begins tomorrow in Seoul, South Korea. Israel will play both games in the opening night against South Korea and Chinese Taipei. 16 different nations take part in the tournament that kicks off every 4 years. While the event hasn't yet reached the status of the Olympics or the World Cup, popularity has been rising. Chris Park, Major League Baseball's Senior VP of Growth Strategy and International, speaking at a news conference on Thursday, said, quote, "The tournament remains very much in the early innings of its development. Our ultimate ambition is to watch and supervise this tournament as it matures into a truly global platform for our game and a real competitor with the top international tournaments around the world." End quote. The Israeli team roster consists of 11 players with experience both in the major and minor leagues, and 16 more with minor league play. Thanks to WBC rules that allow anyone eligible for citizenship in a country to play for that country, this is the first time that Team Israel will have representation from American Jewish baseball players. Team Israel General Manager Peter Kurtz said, quote, "This is a very exciting roster comprised of a group of very experienced players, and that there is an incredibly high level of motivation among all these players to represent Israel at the World Baseball Classic."
That's all for now. I'm Aaron Porras, and see you later with our main daily broadcast from Israel at 2 p.m. Eastern Time.